Good morning, econ students. It's Thursday, April 10th. I know some of you have testing and things going on and you're likely to miss our class today. So I want to make sure you get the notes. We have a review. We're going to review on Monday. Next Monday we're going to review, and next Tuesday we're going to test on trade and on business organizations. So I want to make sure you get the notes. So you need to know this. So today's Thursday, April 10th. And I'm going to give you the notes on business organizations. I'm going to talk a little bit about, try to explain it. I'll put the camera on the notes so you can get the notes and then you can hear me talk. And then I'll also put the notes on the Google Classroom. So you'll have hard copy, you'll have video. So hopefully that'll be really helpful to you. We'll talk about business organizations today, part 1, tomorrow part 2. And then next Monday we'll review trade and business organizations, and then we'll test on Tuesday. All right? So let me move the camera over to the computer screen so I can point out the notes and you can get them. Here we go. Sorry about my hand. All right. Hopefully you can see this. So first, business. The term a business organization. Business organization is an enterprise that produces goods or provides services, usually in order to make a profit. Okay, that's what businesses do. We're talking about free market. We're talking about capitalism. Profit is good. We want to make a profit. That's why we go into business. All right. A sole proprietorship. Now that's a big word, proprietorship. It's just talking about a small business. Okay. It's well, it might not be a small business, but it's a business owned and controlled by one person. And the majority of businesses in the United States today are small businesses, not large businesses, but small businesses, and many of them are sole proprietorships. So for your notes, a sole proprietorship is a business organization owned and controlled by one person. This comes out of page 226 in your textbook. So you might think about some sole proprietorships that are owned by one person, a business that's owned by one person. It might be somebody's tax accounting business. It might be somebody who has their own salon and they do hair and nails. It might be somebody who's a computer fix-it guy. Those are examples of sole proprietorships. All right. Now, here are some things to know about sole proprietorships. All right, and some other definitions. Limited life. Sole proprietorship is defined. It has a limited life. What that means is if the business, a limited life means a business closes if the owner dies, retires, or leaves the business to someone else. Okay? It has a limited life. Now, a business owner can leave their business to their family if he or she dies, and they can continue the business, but typically that's what we mean by limited life. A business closes if the owner dies, retires, or leaves the business to someone else. Unlimited life means a business owner is responsible for all the business, or I'm sorry, unlimited liability. Sorry about that, big difference. Unlimited liability is a business owner is responsible for all the business losses and debts. All right? Just the camera. Okay. All right, now, so unlimited liability, again, a business owner is responsible for all the business losses and debts. That means if you have a business and you don't make money, let's say you're not profitable like you want to be, you're responsible, you're liable, that means you're responsible for the debts of the business, all right? So, you know, if you make money, great. If you lose money, so sad, too bad. You're out of luck. So that's what unlimited liability means. It's you're liable, you're responsible, all right? Now, here are the advantages to a small business. Easy to open or close. A small business in Michigan particularly, very easy to open or close. Very few regulations. Let me move these up. Freedom and control. When you own your business, you've got freedom and control. You can hire who you want. You can fire who you want. You can do whatever you want with the business. It's your business. Okay? Freedom and control. The owner keeps the profits. You make the money. Okay? And now if you got people who work for you, you're going to pay them, but other than that, you keep the profits. Yay! Okay. Disadvantages: limited funds. When you start a business, you know, it takes money to start a business in some cases, or it takes skills, and those are limited. Okay. You might not have a lot. You might not have other people helping you. You're on your own. You got to come up with it. Sometimes you got to work a job to do another job. Limited life. all right? A limited life means that it's a disadvantage. When you die, so does the business, unless you turn it over to your kids. Unlimited liability, we already talked about that. That's a disadvantage. Unlimited liability means you're liable for everything, okay? That's sole proprietorships. All right, readjust the camera. Okay. Now we're going to go to partnerships. 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 It's like what you guys did with your small businesses at lunchtime. Partnerships is a business that is co-owned by 2 or more partners who agree on how responsibilities, profits, and losses of the business are divided. So to put that in English, there it is. Partnership is a business that's co-owned. It means 1 or 2 people are partners together in the business, and you agree, keyword, agree, on responsibilities, who's going to do what, profits, how much money we're going to make, and losses. How do we handle the losses? How do we divide all that up, all right? So, you know, in 6th hour, if Maggie and Lily are doing a partnership, they divide it up, and Maggie says, okay, Lily, if we have profits, I get 60%, you get 40%. If we have losses, guess what? You get 60%, I get 40%. No, I'm just kidding. Partnership, though, but that's how you do it, okay? Partnership, you're working together with one other person, all right? Now, here are some advantages and disadvantages of partnerships. By the way, a lot of times you'll see partnerships in accounting agencies, law firms. Those are great examples of partnerships. All right. Now, advantages of a partnership. Again, like a sole proprietorship, they're easy to open and close. Very easy. Very few regulations on a partnership. Access to resources. The reason you bring a partner in is maybe they got some access to resources. Maybe they got some money. Maybe they know somebody that's got some money. So that's an advantage, okay? Joint, that should be joint, T. There we go. Joint decision making means you guys together make decisions. In specialization, you guys can actually specialize in something. Or the advantage of having a partner is one person can do one thing that they're really good at, another person can do another thing that they're really good at. So, specialization, all right? The disadvantages of a partnership are unlimited liability. Again, you and your partner are liable for the business and how it goes. So if it goes great, good. If it doesn't go great, too bad. Unlimited liability, that's a disadvantage. Potential for conflict. All right? Potential for conflict. So, you know, if Thomas and Gregorio from 6th Hour are in a business together, they might have conflict. Perhaps Thomas is sleeping in on Monday and Gregorio thought he was going to open the shop. Or maybe Gregorio ate all the chips that was in the refrigerator that they were going to have at lunch on lunch break or whatever, you know. There's always potential when you have a couple people together for conflict. Just picking on you guys. Sorry about that. Unlimited liability, potential for conflict, limited life. Limited life. So there again, just like a proprietorship, a limited life would be when you guys are done, the business is done. Unless, of course, you find creative ways to hand it off to people that maybe work for you or relatives or so on. Okay? All right, let's go to the next business organization. So far you've had sole proprietorships, one person. You have had partnerships, dos, 2 people. That's all my Spanish, I know. All right. Corporations, that's the third, referee 3, going up with the 3. Corporations are the third type of business organization. Here's the definition for your notes. A corporation is a business owned by stockholders who own the company's profits, but they face limited liability for the company's debts and losses. All right? That's a mouthful. Let me write that down. Let me explain what that is. A corporation is a business owned by stockholders. Corporations, they're corporate. There's more than one person. And what they do is you start a business and you incorporate. And when you incorporate, you're telling people that you can buy into my company. If you give me money, I will give you a piece of ownership. If you give me dollars, so many dollars, I'll give you a piece of paper that says that you are a co-owner with me in this business. And that's where we get into stocks and bonds, all right, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But a corporation is a business owned by stockholders, people who loan them money And in exchange, they get a piece. They get a piece of the pie. They get a piece of the company, and that's called stock. Okay, stock. Stock is a piece of paper that says I own a percentage of the company. All right. I hope that makes sense to you. So a corporation is a business owned by stockholders, people who loan them money, who own the company's profits, but face limited liability for the company's debts and losses. So stockholders have a limited liability because there's many of them. Excuse me. There's many stockholders, and therefore the liability is very, very limited. It's very rare that an individual in a corporation is responsible for how the corporation goes. All right. Usually it's a board of directors and so on. Limited liability. Let's talk about this now. Here's some definitions. Stock, a share of ownership in a corporation. I just shared that with you. Okay. Stock. It's a share. It's like a piece of the pie. A share of ownership in a corporation. A dividend is a part of the corporation's profits that's paid out to stockholders. So when the corporation makes money, what does it do with its profits? Well, sometimes it will just put that money back into the business, all right? But other times, they'll take some of that profit and they'll share it with their stockholders, with their owners. They'll share it with them, and that's called a dividend, okay? Getting money. That's why you invest in a corporation. They'll pay you money back, okay? A public company issues stock that can be publicly traded. And what I mean by that is a corporation that's what we call a public company, it can be traded publicly. That means anybody, it gets listed on a stock exchange, which is a place where you go and buy stock. It gets a company list, like, for example, Microsoft. Okay, the Microsoft Corporation. They list their company on stock exchanges, and you can buy stock in Microsoft. That means you can buy shares of ownership. You give them money, they'll give you a slip of paper that says thank you for your money, and when we have a dividend, we'll share this much or this percentage with you. And depending on how the company does, if the company makes money, you're going to make money. If the value of the company goes down and it's not making money, then the value of your slice of the pie goes down, okay? A public company issues stock that can be publicly traded, okay? And that goes on all the time. People are buying and selling their shares of stock, okay? If Microsoft is doing really, really good, and my stock prices are going up, but maybe I want to switch gears, I'm a stockholder and I want to do something different. The old theory is sell high, buy low. What that means is when a company is just starting out, that's a good place to get in at the ground level. When Facebook is a publicly traded company, and when they first went public, you could buy Facebook shares really, really cheap. I mean, like $1 or $2 a share. I don't know what it is today. We can look it up. You can Google it and find out. But when a company is not performing well, but you think that they over the long haul will, then you continue to buy shares of stock in the company. That's called buying low, getting good deals. Knowing that later on, as the company grows, if you want to sell your stock at when stock prices are high, you're making money. Okay, buy low, sell high. Right? Now, a corporation, this here is called an organizational chart. And an organizational chart basically shows who does what in the company. Okay. At the top, and this is page 240 in your book. The people in charge of the corporation are the stockholders. Okay, and how are you in charge? Because you're in charge in a sense that you get to buy and sell stock. Okay, you have ownership. Then you have a board of directors right here. That's the next box. The board of directors are the people who oversee the company, the corporation. They oversee to make sure it's going well, and they report to the stockholders. And every now and then they issue a report, usually an annual report. Once a year they'll send out a report and they say, this is how our company did. We made money, we lost money, this is how we did, okay? And then you have, I can't even read it, but these are actually officers of the corporation. This line here is, you have a board of directors, they oversee it, and then these officers take care of the day-to-day work. They oversee different areas, finance, development, human resources. There's different areas where people work under, and then as you go down, these are other people who are working, and then you have employees. Okay, this is what we call operations. So an organizational chart basically shows you who does what. Now let's look at some more terms for corporations. A bond. Let me just see what happened to I thought I had a definition here for you for organizational chart. Well, maybe we'll come back to that. Right now, just write down an organizational chart is a diagram that shows who does what in the corporation. Okay. An organizational chart is a diagram that shows who does what in a corporation. We'll go with that right now. Now, a bond. The definition of a bond is a contract issued by a corporation that promises to repay borrowed money plus interest on a fixed schedule. Okay? So when you buy bonds, when corporations sell bonds, they're trying to raise money to build, to add on, to do different things. And what they do is it's basically you give them money and the corporation gives you a piece of paper that says you have a bond. It's a little bit different than a share of stock, okay? Because a bond is like a loan. And so a bond says, thank you for your $100 and we will repay you in 5 years and we'll repay you 7% interest over 5 years. So, you get $100, you get 5%. Did I say 7%? 7% interest. So 7% on 100 is $7. That's $7 a year times 5 years. That's 35. So they're going to pay you roughly $135 back. It's actually compound interest, but we won't worry about them. I'm just giving you the big idea here. Bond is a contract issued by a corporation that promises to repay borrowed money plus interest on a fixed schedule. Okay. Now, corporations. Limited liability means that a business owner's liability for the debts and losses of a business are limited. Okay, limited liability. That means that success or failure, it's limited. All right, in a corporation. Unlimited life. A corporation continues to exist even after the owner dies, leaves the business, or transfers his or her ownership. So a corporation, because it has a board of directors, it's controlled by stockholders, has a board of directors, it has operations officers who oversee the employees. See, no one person really owns it by themselves. And so a corporation, after one person dies, can continue to exist for a long time. Okay, here's the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of a corporation are access to resources. Bonds, stocks create money for the corporation. Professional managers. Usually in a corporation you hire people who are professional, who have skills, who have abilities, who have education, and so on. Limited liability. Individual liability is limited. The corporation as a whole is liable, no one person. And then unlimited life, as we already shared, unlimited life, the corporation can keep going on. Okay, write those down. Advantages of a corporation: access to resources, professional managers, limited liability, unlimited life. Here's the disadvantages. I'll keep this on the screen. Disadvantages are startup costs and efforts. To start up a corporation can cost mucho dinero. So startup cost means a lot of money. So startup costs and efforts are a disadvantage. Heavy regulation. The government regulates corporations pretty heavily. All right, pretty heavily. Double taxation. The corporation gets taxed, and then you or officers, whoever gets dividends, that's money that you get, that gets taxed. So it's double taxation. And then loss of control. No one person has control of the corporation. All right, it's shared by stockholders, by a board of directors, by professional managers. Okay, so there's no individual control. All right, let's talk about another type of business. Is a franchise. I think we're almost done for today. A franchise is a business that licenses the right. Oh, I'm sorry, corporations too. Microsoft, examples of corporations. Microsoft is a corporation. Ford Motor Company is a corporation. General Motors is a corporation. Apple Computers is a corporation. Apple is. Amazon's a corporation. Those are examples. All right, now, franchise. A franchise is page 248. Franchise is a business that licenses the right to sell its product in a particular area. Okay, that's a franchise. It's a business that licenses the right to sell its products in a particular area. A franchisee is a semi-independent business that buys the right to run a franchise. Okay, a franchisee is a semi-independent business that buys the right to run a franchise. So what do I mean by a franchise? It's a business that licenses the right to sell its products in a particular area. McDonald's is a franchise. All right, you see McDonald's all over the country, all over the globe. Basically what has happened is the McDonald's Corporation has agreed, or the McDonald's franchise, I should say, has agreed to let other people start their own McDonald's. For example, if you want to start your own McDonald's, then you contact McDonald's and you say, hey, I live here in Grand Rapids. We don't have a McDonald's, believe it or not, in our neighborhood. So I would like to start a McDonald's. What do I got to do? They send you a contract. They'll say, okay, here's a license. Here's a license for you to own and operate a McDonald's franchise. It's going to cost you, I don't know, $10,000. So for $10,000, you get a license. What that license does is it allows you to put up the building, to use the golden arches, just like they have golden arches, to have menus that look just like their menus, to sell the same exact things that they sell. Okay, they're giving you the right to sell those things, and that's through a license. All right, and that's what a franchise does. So that's what a franchise is. The franchisee is the person, you or someone else, who starts a business that buys the right to run a franchise. I hope that makes sense. Starbucks is not a franchise. They are privately owned. Chick-fil-A is a franchise, all right? So there you go. Here are advantages or disadvantages of a franchise. Advantages of a franchise are some independence, because you basically have, it's your business, all right? Available training, available products. You paid a license, and so you're going to get some training from McDonald's, and they're going to make their products available to you to sell. And free advertising, national and regional. They're going to help you market your business. You paid them a license. Their golden arches are going on your property, okay, because that you own the property. Okay, you buy the building, you buy the land, you buy the building, but they give you all these things that are going to help you, all right? And so that's a great way to get into business, is get into a franchise. Here are the disadvantages: investment of funds, sharing profits, lack of control. When you have a franchise, you have to give them, not only do you pay a licensing fee, but then you also give them a percentage of the money that you make, all right? Not all the profits are yours. You share some of the profits. And you don't lack total control, because they're going to tell you, here's what the menu is. You can't deviate from the menu. You can't go away from the menu. This is what you have to do, all right? So, this is our part 1 today on businesses. And just to review, we are talking about three main types of businesses, and well, 4 types of business organizations. We are talking about sole proprietorships, one person, partnerships, more than one person, corporations, stockholders, directors, managers, all right, and franchises. All right, so I hope that helps you out a lot today. I'll have these notes in the Google Docs as well. Watch the video again if you need to, or if you're just sick of hearing from me, fine. Just get the notes and put them in your notes and study them and be ready to test next week. I hope you have a great day. Bye.